Hope you're both doing well.
Thank you.
There's so many factors as to what makes this such a great TV show, but I think the quality of Joe's writing just stands out so much because it's such a brilliant. I mean, the human characters, the sci-fi elements to marry it all up is great. I just wanted to big up Joe, basically. Can we just talk about how great his scripts are?
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that because honestly, aren't they staggering? And every episode, every single syllable he writes is truthful, honest, funny, challenging, brave, exciting. You know, this is writing, you know, of a different caliber. He's extraordinary. Don't tell him.
I've actually had him on my. I'm a big Spurs fan. I had him on my Spurs podcast.
Oh, did you? Okay.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
I bet he's that would have been his dream come true.
Yeah.
That's very sweet.
We love him.
Yeah, he's a good guy. We're very, very, very lucky to get to read the words that he writes.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. I mean, how important is it to trust your writers when on a TV show? Because it's always fascinating to me as to how actors, you have this ownership over this role. They belong to you in so many ways, and yet you don't have any power over their kind of fate or their actions. Is it quite exciting to see where the characters are taken when you get the scripts in?
I think that's really interesting. You've broken me. I know. No, but it's really interesting because you do feel ownership, but also the part of the excitement, particularly with this show, actually probably more than other sort of less wild rides, you know, more domestic things. You know, you really don't know where he's going to take you. And in this series, I'm grateful I didn't know where he was going to take Wes, actually, because I think in a way, the thrill of being revealed as a character by your writer has been, I've never known anything quite like it, actually. I've been acting for a long time, thousands of years, and I've never had a journey like this where the writer has allowed me to explore such extremes. And I think that's, you know, I'm very, very grateful, and every script was like a gift.
Wow. Yeah, I would say yes, and sometimes I'd read something and go, wow, Joe, you really trust me, I guess, which was a nice thing, but also sometimes I was like, there's a lot more running in this one for me. He's writing a lot of running, and I was so used to all the sitting down, but he writes very well for his cast, I think. He knows the ways in which people, particularly with humour, because he's a super funny writer, and if you didn't have the human, as you said, and the sort of how witty everyone is and how very sort of British it feels too, I think that it would just be so dark the whole time. And he writes very well for us. Sometimes I'll read a line and go, of course, Caroline's going to say that in such a brilliant way, or I'll read something that he's written for me and think, oh yeah, I can't wait to say that, which is nice because sometimes I feel like when you read something on a page, sometimes it feels like as an actor, you're like, I don't really know how I'm going to say that and make it sound like something a person would say. But Joe writes...
He writes for your character, but he also writes for you as an actor, and I don't know how you do that. That's some sort of alchemy that only he understands.
He's a wizard.
He's a wizard. He is a wizard.
I think, Caroline, I love your role because there's something kind of, obviously she's to the point and she's got a lot of power, but there's a kind of playfulness to her as well, I think.
I think that's Joe.
Yeah, she really reminds me of some of my sort of like favourite teachers and the teachers that would get the best out of me when I was at school.
Oh, that's so sweet.
I wonder if you still use real people from your life to help inform your characters, or when you do have characters that are well written, is it very much just what's on the page?
I think sometimes I find that I've used something from someone I know and it's sort of happened by accident, and I suddenly feel I'm sort of manifesting some part of someone's personality, and actually a teacher is a very interesting thing for you to say, because there is an element of a teacher I had when I was very young, actually, in Wes. But mostly Joe writes brilliant for women. He writes brilliantly for women. I just don't know. I think it's fantastic because he never ever assumes that there is, particularly I find in Wes in this series, that there is a female perspective on something. She just is who she is. 100%, and we learn more and more about her, and some of that is not as pretty as we'd like, you know, and I love him for not shying away from that and making a woman who is not afraid to take very, very hard, brutal decisions, actually, sometimes.
I feel like we can never show Joe this interview, by the way.
Don't you dare show Joe this interview.
No.
We'll deny it. We'll deny it.
On a loop.
We'll say it's AI.
Yeah.
We'll say it's AI.
I love interviewing. This is my final question, really. I love interviewing actors for a second season because we can talk about the kind of reaction and response to the first. And it's been so well received, this show, from fans and critics alike. I mean, it's even won awards. I just wondered, does that help validate a project for you? Do you find as actors, other people's reactions can ever vindicate decisions you make? Or is the only thing that matters your experience is making it, irrespective of what people think of it?
No, definitely we want people to like it. It's always such a scary feeling. Especially because the series takes 6 months to shoot, so it's a really long time. If people are like, "It's all right," you sort of feel a bit. It's scary.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Your life has gone into something that people didn't get, and and this show, you know, I mean, it is quite a risky thing. This show, you know, it's not an easy kind of thing, and for it, and I think the fact that, you know, speaking to people who go, really enjoying it, loving that aspect of it. You know, it's a lovely feeling because we're in that dark hangar for many, many days. You know, we're at Lazarus. Well, I am. They all get out and do fun stuff.
I get to go outside.
Yeah, I don't go outside. I never go outside.
We keep Caroline in.
Wes is inside, like her little bonsai tree that's dying. It's great when people love it because that's why we do it. We're entertainers. I mean, basically, I'm a red-nosed clown, and I want to know that people are enjoying it. You know.
But also, when we were making it, I think there's a feeling of, oh God, this might be really special. So it is very validating when then people like it, and it takes so many people to make it, and it's an enormous privilege to get to do this as a job. It's the thing you hope so badly when you're a kid that you'll be able to one day do. So when people like that you're doing it, it's even better.
It does. It takes a long time to make, and then it takes a long time in post-production. It takes a long time till it comes out. So, you know, it's not immediate gratification. So it's really nice when people do like it.
And it's a pretty mad show, so we're glad that people take a chance on it.
And they get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do. It's brilliant. Thank you so much for your time today, and best of luck with the release of the show. Maybe we'll catch up again for a third season.
Thank you very much. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!
Hey You Guys!
Hey, that's what they all say.
Hey You Guys!
Hey, you guys!